You know what I like? I like dark techno music. I like showing off guns like this one that spark generally tolerable conversation. I like Mexican women. Angry Mexican women.
They should put Mexican women in Mortal Kombat, that video game.
Angry Mexican women who have gone far and beyond 11 on the volume scale before breaking off the knob, leaving you to search for a pair of pliers or a sad Tejano song to make her switch from angry to just drunk and sad. You'll quickly realize that many songs that you'll play remind her of someone in the family who passed away before you were even shot from your father's meat stick into your mother's
chips and queso.
And I love seeing shit like this. This right here, this simple sentence does more to enrage someone who spent their time learning how to expertly craft buckings, how to shim gears, how to source the proper motors and gear sets for the corresponding ideas that they have in their minds. Real nerdy shit. You tell someone that they should have polar starred it, and you immediately start a 100-comment chain on Facebook or Reddit. The same would apply if you responded to someone talking about their retro mod build of a Buick Grand National with a snarky comment like this one. Oh, that's cool, but why didn't you just buy a 2020 Supra?
Get out of here, man!
So I really applaud all the people who comment this kind of phrase. We deconstruct egos one comment at a time here. Or we just throw all of Airsoft more and more into the dumpster. That's fine though. Alright. On to the Arcturus AK review. M4s! You get tired of seeing them on my channel, and I get too tired of having to review them over and over all the damn time. So when this box arrived, I was actually pretty excited to change things up a bit. I mean, it's still a filthy AEG, but whatever. I still have to thank Airsoft GI and Jack Precision for making this review happen. I even got the chance to see all the other Arcturus rifles available right now at the GI Tactical Store in Plano, Texas. But let's just start where we always begin, with the unboxing, before I go off on another random tangent. This begins with a pretty run-of-the-mill cardboard box that reads, Arcturus!
Dedicated for collectors.
I mean, I like to believe that toilet paper is dedicated for my ass, but I don't go out and gloat about it. Opening up the box, you'll see everything to get you started. And hey, they even threw in 2 magazines in this box. That's the kind of classiness you rarely get anymore. Whatever happened to this kind of generosity? I guess some other manufacturers like the idea of just tossing in a jamming/cleaning/rectal investigation rod and just calling it a day. Arcturus instead gave you a high cap, a variable mid cap magazine that I'll talk about a bit later, an Allen wrench, an unjamming rod, an Arcturus PVC patch, a quality certificate stating what this replica chronoed at with a 0.2 gram BB, and an instructional sheet surrounded by thick foam. Yeah, the instructional sheet should have been a bit more thorough, but that's why I'm here anyway. And that's pretty much it. So taking everything out, we can now take a look at the actual AK that I was sent. Now right away, this is just one of the many AKs that Arcturus offers. They've got ones with short barrels and ones with long barrels, ones with crane stocks and ones with side folding stocks, ones that look like ACRs, and even ones with felony records and partially covered up tattoos. This one here would be the AK05, and it sells for about $290 on Airsoft GI at the moment. And it would be my second favorite of all the AKs available from Arcturus, with the strange ACR hybrid rifle being my top pick. It just looks the most unique of all of them without a doubt. If all the other tactical AKs that you see here are DeLoreans, then this one is the Theo God 3 signed black gold and retro mod rendered DMC 12. And I'm actually very surprised that I said all that in one take. This AK05 that I have here and every other Arcturus AK come with a dinky plastic M4 birdcage flash hider, and that's really a bummer. I know I shit on a lot of stuff that really doesn't need to be even shitted on, but it couldn't have been much to ask for just maybe a couple AK style flash hiders in the box or some creative looking muzzle brakes. This rifle looks great already, and then you look at the front and it's just spoiled with this cheap cop out at the end of the barrel. The 6 position low profile stock that's backed up with a rubberized coating at the end and the quick access Magpul MOE style motor grip makes sense to be crafted from polymer plastic. But the flash hider on a nearly $300 rifle made of almost entirely of steel, it just seems a little weak. At least the grub screw holding it into place isn't glued in or just glued over, but the flash hider itself is still glued onto the 14mm counterclockwise threads that you'll probably use to replace this damn thing. This could also be just for the US models. I know we get the shaft a lot when it comes to flash hiders because of our orange tip requirements. Getting the shaft might be a little too light on what I'm actually trying to get across. We more or less get ravaged by the long schlong of the US government. Moving on, you'll see they have a 9-inch CNC Type 3 hard anodized handguard as stated by Arcturus. This comes with some Picatinny railing up top and on both sides, and some M-lock underneath, as well as a QD sling hole on each side, and when used, it'll match up neatly with the huge sling loop that's connected to the buffer tube. The handguard is held together with 4 Allen screws, securing it nicely. No wobble or anything I should really point out here, besides maybe the serial number and Arcturus logo that you'll find on the left side.
Wrapping up the front portion of the AK05, I'm going to show off the sights. These are completely crafted from steel and are only adjustable for elevation. These are crude but usable, like you'd imagine, but built nicely on this replica. Hell, even the gas tube lever works like it should, but it's pretty stiff as you'd assume it would be, being made from steel. You know, looking at this AK, I just noticed that you could either use the sights or throw on a long eye relief scope, or just say fuck it all and slide on an old Kami side mount and put on a Cobra sight on that. Redundancy. There's 5 sling points on this gun too. As for the rest of the top half of this AK, well, we have a steel dust cover with strengthening ridges and the wiring underneath that for small type equipped batteries. And I love AKs that have their battery compartments here. No tools needed, no other bullshit to unscrew or take off. Just push a button, slide a thin battery down the gas tube, hook it up, and boom, you're good. I can't believe I'm talking about this. I'm just tired of having to unscrew butt plates to put a damn battery into my AKs. You have your mock bolt here too, with the old plastic style AK hop-up adjuster behind that. And that's pretty much it. That's all the top finished. The rest of the goodies are on the receiver, like the extended ledge for the selector switch that works like any other AK I've ever had. It's a little stiff, but give it some time and you'll be fine. Then you have a spacer inside the magwell that makes reloads so much easier to perform than some other models you'd find out there. You can find the same style of spacer on E&L AKs, and I wish they were in every Airsoft AK. I'm tired of messing up reloads with AKs, so this spacer is appreciated. As long as you get the front lip of the magazine in the magwell, you're good. Just rock the mag backwards. I also really appreciate the spring detensioner switch next to the trigger. This will trip the anti-reversal latch, taking stress off of the main spring. Do this when you're finished for the day with your Arcturus AKs, and you'll be able to make your internals last just a little bit longer in theory. This is an older trait that I love seeing implemented into new guns, but after that, this AK05 is pretty easy to talk about. The magazine release paddle? It sure works. Watch it go. The trigger sure is steel too. Yep. And that grip has a lot of grip all over it. It's got like a whole 2 pounds of grip on it. Altogether, you get a 7.38 pound compact rifle that I got these ratings out of it, with a bottle of 0.2 gram BBs, of course. And as you can see, this instantly became a no-go for most CQB fields in the United States, but the consistency is pretty good, and the rate of fire is average. Nothing too special, but not bad. At the range, with a very slight breeze, I was getting some 150-foot shots, but 150 was about the limit for right now. I've never shot this AK before filming this, so you can take into account the factor of the breaking in period. I turned the hop up just a bit as well to give the BB a little more oomph at the end, but seeing it now while editing, I could have turned it down just a bit. For a rifle with a 6.02 inner barrel, I'd say it could have done a lot better, so I'd probably recommend a quick bucking swap to help your range and accuracy if after a couple thousand rounds you don't see any positive differences in performance. Range is just moderate, especially for the mid-range engagements you'll most likely be facing with a rifle like this. Backing up the performance traits would be a micro switch trigger with an absence of any advanced MOSFET drop-ins. The gearbox is somewhat proprietary thanks to that micro switch trigger, and because of the quick change spring system in the back of the gearbox that sadly can't be reached without taking the whole gearbox out of the lower receiver. Inside the gearbox, you'll find a thick spur gear, 8mm bushings on the spur and sector, and bearings on the bevel. I wouldn't say that the trigger is the snappiest even with the micro switch trigger installed though. I know it's there and I can feel it, but I still can't get anything super fast out of the setup. So after a couple weeks with this Arcturus AK, What do I like about it? Well, it's a tough and well-built rifle on the outside. It's comfortable thanks to the motor grip and the stock that work nice together. I really like the spacer inside the magwell and the detentioner switch. Redundancy in the sling points and the sight options are nice, and I really like the variable mid-cap magazine that can be switched from 30 rounds to 120 rounds by simply taking it down to the shell and flipping a switch. The extended follower tip on the mag is another great pro that cuts down on wasted BBs when you remove the magazine from the gun to 1 in most cases. It's definitely one of the better AKs I've ever reviewed. What I would change though is the stupid flash hider that we get in the US, or I just throw in a proper one into the box that I can put onto the rifle later. I'd also want a way to adjust the spring or remove the guide and spring through the buffer tube if possible, so I don't need to tear down the whole gun apart to make a spring swap. The winding wheel on the high cap could have been a little bit more prominent too. I can just barely get a grip on it when I need to prepare the magazine. Really though, these are mostly just nitpicks. Maybe a flat trigger would have made the micro switch more impressive, and why not extend the magazine release too? That would have just been kind of cool to see. The Arcturus AK line can do well in the US market, I think. The more alternatives to just going with another NPC M4, the merrier. I just really hope that they run with this idea and try something that really hasn't been done before, like maybe a tactical RPK line or a micro AK variant like a Draco or something. Or just make a few dozen M4s and slap the name Arcturus on them. F what I think. Just let me know in the comments if you liked what I showed off today, and if you'd like this AK05 for yourself, because I'm giving this one away as soon as the USAirsoft channel breaks 175,000 subscribers. That shouldn't be too long of a wait, so keep an eye out for the giveaway announcement video that I'll post here on the channel soon. For now though, I have to really thank Airsoft GI and Jag Precision for making this review happen. If that's something to be proud about, well, I guess that's their decision. Some days I just wake up as a new character, the kind of character with more self-imposed anger than a slightly hefty freshman who wants to get back at the guy who also likes the quiet, pale, skinny girl with the only good brain in a class of wannabe thugs whose fathers are either non-existent or are always drunk at every football game their school hosts. Ernest, mira, come here. I'm missing 2 blunts, cabrón. And I know your little sister didn't take them this time. You can blame these two for my videos. I just hope you enjoyed this review of something a bit different from the norm. Lord knows we need more than another M4 review. But just you fucking wait. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I'll be sure to see you all next time.
You got a bit more leverage. Never been before.